Hi there. I'm Dr. Karen Leggett, the Women's Midlife Specialist, and today is part 2 of Be a Superwoman Breast Cancer Brainiac. Today we're going to talk about environmental influences versus genetic influences of breast cancer. But don't worry, the word genetic can sound a little boring or technical, but I promise I won't bore you. Do you remember Sergeant Joe Friday on the TV show Dragnet? If you're close to me in age, you might have watched Dragnet as a kid. Just the facts, ma'am. Please don't bore me. I promise to police myself to make sure I don't start talking too many science facts. In fact, I think you might just be surprised with what you are about to discover. There's an excellent research study performed by the National Institute of Health that was published in 2008 on the genetic versus environmental influences of cancers worldwide. Haven't you really wanted to know the truth about environmental versus genetic influences of cancer so you can stop wondering about everything you read on the internet? Feeling like you don't know who you can trust? Have you ever distrusted what your doctor has said to you, but then at the same time feel a little less than smart falling into the trap of believing just anyone on the internet who doesn't really have true credibility? Well, that's what I am here for. I am your true integrative voice of reason, and I am going to review a particular study with you titled Cancer is a Preventable Disease That Requires Major Lifestyle Changes, published in a highly respected journal, Pharmacology Research. If this study whets your appetite, I can show you 120 more to take a look over as well. But for now, whoa, Miss Karen, don't get off track. I promise to stay on subject. Okay, so this is a very illuminating and empowering publication, and I think you will be happy with what you are about to discover. Because even though you don't have any power over anything in your past, you do have quite a bit of power over your future. And this is all we can ask for, right? We have to leave our past behind and move into the future. There was once a time that I would tell patients that it was my guess that getting cancer in general was probably influenced by 3 things: genes, environmental exposure, and who knows what. Stating who knows what helped me help patients understand that not only did we really not have a full picture of what causes cancer, we also can't be too tough on ourselves. In fact, we can be absolutely perfect with our diet and do our best to stay clear of environmental toxins and still get cancer from genes and who knows what. The percentages of each of these factors, however, were unknown to me until I came across this excellent publication. And you are about to discover more about the genes and the environment and the who knows what regarding breast cancer right now. Now let's get down to brass tacks. The facts boil down to this, and it's going to surprise you. Take a look. This pie graph represents the division between genetic influences of certain cancers and environmental influences. The pie at the top shows that only 5 to 10% of all cancers are influenced by hereditary factors. This leaves 90 to 95% environmental factors. If you look at breast cancer in particular, only 1.8% of breast cancers are directly influenced by genetic makeup. Wow, is that a lot less than you thought? Well, hang in there because there is more to it than that. If only 1.8% of breast cancers are caused by genetic material, we need to be looking at exactly what environmental influences are affecting our ability to prevent breast cancer. Most of you have probably heard at least a little about the genes associated with breast cancer, called BRCA1 and BRCA2. These genes are the 1.8% that this article is referring to. I find it quite interesting that most cancers are not hereditary influence. Another way to look at this is that cancer is caused by both internal factors and external factors. Internal factors are things like inherited mutations on the genes like BRCA1 and BRCA2 genes, hormones in the body, and immune conditions. Environmental and acquired factors include alcohol, tobacco, diet, infections, obesity, and environmental toxins. Environmental factors are realized by looking at the large differences in rates of specific cancers in different countries, and by the changes in the frequency of cancer when someone moves from one country to another. For example, Asians have a 10 times lower incidence of breast cancer than do people who live in Western countries. However, when an Asian woman moves to a Western country, her risk of breast cancer substantially increases, and the longer she lives in her new Western country, the closer her rates of breast cancer match to Western women who have lived there their entire life. Studies of identical twins who have been separated at birth have lived in completely different locations on the globe have similar rates of breast cancer to the country that they live in, not to their identical twin who lives in a different country. Now, this is an important concept to understand because it says a lot about that third piece of influence, the who knows what piece. The who knows what piece is about the environmental influences that affect in some way our genetic material. We might not have been born with a gene known to influence the risk of breast cancer, the BRCA1 or BRCA2 gene, but environmental influences that we have been exposed to sometime in our lives from birth to present can alter and affect our genetic material. That's a big piece. And it explains why we as adults trying to live the cleanest life we possibly know can still end up with cancer. For many of us, we might not have had control over what we had been exposed to in the past, and certainly we didn't have control as children. And what we know today is far more advanced than what our parents knew. Fortunately, we do have a lot of control over what we are exposed to today and in our future. I want this to make you feel good. I hope that this concept gives you the feeling of power. So hang in there. In the next 6 videos, we're going to discuss each of these environmental influences on breast cancer to make you a superwoman breast cancer brainiac. In the coming videos, we are going to go through each of the environmental influences which influence the risks of developing breast cancer and look at them one by one. So that's it for part 2, guys and gals. Make sure you send this video to every woman you know, as well as any man you think would like to help the women in his life be safer and smarter. Help spread the word. Share this video on Facebook. And if you are watching this video because a friend sent it to you or because you found it on Facebook, be sure to sign up on my Facebook page so you don't miss any of the valuable videos in the series still to come. Now do me a favor, scroll down to the bottom of this page. Let me know what you think. Give me a thumbs up. Let's do this together and make it the best 4-week-long series on breast cancer possible. See you soon.